Mic check. One Masters Podcast just made a course. Across me, I got a special guest. I got my guy Juanito in the building. How you doing? All right, you back again. And then I got a special guest. You know what I'm saying? She a superstar now, if y'all know, by the way. Miss Lacey Doe, how you doing? Clap it up for her real quick. The pause is insane, bro. I'm telling you, man. Y'all got to calm down. Clapping that loud for Lacey. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Recently, because you do so many hats, you got so many hats, though. You do a lot of jobs, you know what I'm saying? Known as a credit lady, but then you do other things as well. And then recently, you just started a podcast up. So that was dope, too. So clap it up for you again, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Entering the space, you know what I'm saying? Taking that leap.
For sure.
And the thing I like about it the most is, though, she put a lot of work into it before she started. So some people, they just jump right into it, which is fine. Do your thing. But she asked a lot of questions. She did a lot of research before she started. She want to make sure it was right, and then she went ahead and did it. I got to respect that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shout out to the Does, but shout out to you, definitely, man. All right?
They could never make me hate you.
Hey, I told you don't start. Hold up. Hey, look, this the rule, right? So when people say that, I be feeling like the person they saying that about got some like egregious acts against them. Like trust me, they won't make me hate. They won't make you hate me because I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing on me. So let's make that clear right now. When that stuff came out with Diddy and I seen he was saying that, I said, "Oh man, it's about to get bad." And boy was all right. But yeah, man. So definitely shout out to you. But I guess first as an icebreaker too to get into it, because I know you can speak to it better than I can. Talk to us about what went into you wanting to start a podcast, and then what your podcast is about, or what you plan on it being about. Now I know you 2 episodes in, but you know what I'm saying, you a star right now. I'm just letting you know that's what the streets are saying.
Not the
The
streets.
streets told me that, bro. That ass.
The streets didn't tell you that.
Didn't you get stopped a lot in studio? I
did.
The streets.
Story
I'm
time,
telling you,
baby.
bro. I'm telling you, bro. Streets are saying it's crazy out here. Man.
So the first question was what made me like get into it.
Right.
What made me get into it was really like just thinking about what people need that we not really getting, which is authenticity and talking about real life. Everybody want to talk about this make believe life and overhype it. I'm over here like, no, this the real. This is you might experience this. You know, you might be experiencing this, or this is how I handled it. So my goal really for it is to show people that it's okay to like be yourself, and these things may come along with being yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like this is life, literally.
You know, one thing I can say, and I don't know if you watch the lives like that. I watching the troll. I'm not gonna lie, I like the troller when she talking on live. I just do, but I do watch them. And one thing I can say about them is it is a certain level of transparency you don't see with most people's content. Like that level of transparency. I think obviously the story time a month or 2 ago, which probably I don't know if that's the highest like view one or what, I don't know, but you went live like a lot of times. They want it back. They come back. Tell me more about the story. Tell me more about the story. But what I liked about it was even in the first one, she was like, "Look now, if you're gonna be here judging, just get off. Like I'm telling you right now, like I ain't made the best choices, so don't come in here judging me. You know,
I respect that.
You know, but she also was honest in what she was saying.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that sometimes because a lot of times you catch yourself up, and I don't know if you had this problem or not. When you're telling the story, you can feel when you're telling it, you can feel where you made the wrong mistake. Like, and that was dumb. But I gotta say it now because y'all engaged. So I thought it was dope how she prefaced it like, "Hey, look, don't come in here judging. Don't ask me no silly ass questions."
I don't like no mess.
All right now. We ain't gonna hold up. We gonna keep it a buck on this.
Yeah. Gotta keep it authentic.
Authenticity, right? Come on, man.
Yeah, for real. So the one that I did like a month ago, it did push me more because it was like, dang, like, let me just go ahead and do it. And I think we get so caught up in like, I got to be fully ready to do it. And it's anything. It don't have to be the business. It could be anything, you know, a new position at a job or whatever. It's just like, honestly, you'll never fully be ready. And if you keep like, oh, I need to get this and I need to get that, you'll never do it because you're going to psych yourself out every time. I mean, you know, because you definitely helped push me. So I always going to give you your flowers. But it was just like, let me just go ahead and do it.
It's a button for flowers. It's just a little nice little button, you know. But she make a good point about not like I think Wallow, you know, I listen to a lot of Philly rappers, and it was a skit on it. It's like, you're never gonna be ready. Like you always think that you need this, you need that. No, just do it now. Because if you keep doing that, you'll never be ready for what's ready for you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you keep saying, I need this first, that's not always the case. Sometimes you just gotta just go in 2 feet in and go ahead and go, and then that's going when you reach what you need. So that makes you make a good point on that. I feel like even in podcasting, that's one of them things people like. You jump in, jump out because it's talking. It's really a version of you that it's hard to. It's not hard to like, I guess, quote unquote, lie or mask yourself, but the type of stuff you talking about, or that people that have authenticity talk about, you give a version of yourself that most people don't get, even people that know you. So you get on this microphone, and if you are captivating, it's mainly because you're telling your truth. You're telling something, a part of you that a lot of people don't know. So listen to that podcast. Somebody can know you every day of your life. Your best friend can know you. I forgot the name, damn. But your best friend can know you. And she might still find something out about you on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? And you talk to the person all the time. So yeah, I do think that whole I gotta be 100%. No, it's not. It's a false narrative. That's like a cop out to me. That's like you just saying it because you scared.
Yeah.
Just say you're scared.
Right.
But so it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and me and him started. Well, another guy actually started it, but we kind of took over on doing it. Is I want to have a couple of mental health awareness episodes, and we'll actually go into June because July is minority mental health awareness, and we minority, so it makes sense to keep going, right? Up until end of July, more likely. So I got some guests lined up, and then when I saw you, I said, well, that's probably perfect to do now. I was going to do it last week, but I didn't want to jump into what you were going to do. So I said, let me see what she do first. I let that fly, and that's my fault, man. I opened that door too many times. Lacey didn't know where she was going. You know, I get the wrong direction. It's my bad too, man.
You're over here like, I know I ain't supposed to go. The woods?
Everybody go to the woods, bro.
You tell me this.
My first time coming here, I went back there too. I said, oh, now that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Time for that.
Hell,
Yeah.
I just saw The Strangers the other day. That shit threw me off. So nah, I wouldn't do that to you. I tried to see location, but it was too late. You know how people be driving. You know, so. But so we want to talk about that a lot of this month. One of the things I didn't like about your episode too, and I want to get into first was you mentioned anxiety. Now I can't say I experienced it. I don't know what that is. I heard of it. And what's funny is the other day I actually watched South Park. I don't know why, of all things. I ain't watched it in years, but it was on. And they was talking about anxiety. That fly, I really like you, man. Like, what's going on? It was on one earlier, so I'm trying to, if I get it, I get it. But, you know, they talked about anxiety. And it was a joke, I guess. They put a bag on their head and they was on their phone. So I guess the message was anxiety means that you're just gonna like be disconnected from everybody else and just be in your phone. I don't know. It was funny, but I don't know. You were talking more from a serious standpoint. You mentioned anxiety to me before as well. Like, what is that and what does it mean? Like, what does that look like for y'all when you say I have anxiety? What does that word mean?
Shit, for me, I kind of was like you for like a good minute. I used to have like friends that had panic attacks and anxiety, and I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, what is that? What's that supposed to mean? Like, how do you catch it? Like, what is it? Like, I didn't like. Not even trying to be funny. Like, I didn't know what it was. I literally didn't know what it was, and I seen like he had like a real bad panic attack at school, and like ran out. They had to run into the bathroom. She had to call her parents and stuff, and it was like it got crazy. And I was like, damn, what does that mean? She broke it down to me, and I still didn't know I had experienced it or whatever. And then like, you know, of course, like with shit that happened with my dad and things like that, I start to feel it myself. It's kind of like your body, to me, it's like your body being in fight or flight, essentially. And what the reason why I said fight or flight might not even be necessary. It might not even be a real thing. It might be happening, it might not happen. It just be something that you're thinking about in your head. And your body would kind of, you know,
react to it.
Yeah, react to it. Essentially, that's all it is. It has different ways of manifesting. It could be breathing, your chest feeling closed up, leg hurting, headache, anything like that. Like it manifests in different forms, and you just have to be aware enough to identify it, and then try to calm yourself, decompress, or however you know relieve stress, and go from there. I've dealt with multiple things. Like I done had panic attacks myself. Real bad ones over here thinking like because like I say, it's fight or flight. So you think you about to die or you about to have a heart attack or something like that, and it's not even the case. Like you really just need to chill out. Like your body is your nervous system is tweaking out essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing for you?
So I never experienced panic attacks. It was my now therapist that I have. We did a consultation. And so during the consultation, she was asking me to describe like how I'm feeling and like, thoughts and stuff like that. And she's like, do you ever feel like you trying to turn your thoughts off and they won't turn off? I'm like, yes. Like it's so weird to explain because it's like it's hard to explain, honestly. It's one of those things that you got to feel. But when she said that, I was like, so I'm going at it. I'm like, yes, it's like I can't get it to turn off. And I'm like, please turn off. I said, it's so bad that I will go to sleep and think it. And I can wake up and remember like vividly. Like it's not turning off. And so I never knew I struggled with anxiety or that it was really called that. I'm thinking like anxiety, in order to be struggling with anxiety, you got to be having panic attacks. Like that's the only type of people that really struggle with anxiety. So when we were talking during my consultation, at the very end, she let me talk my whole hour. She said, you struggle with some anxiety. Your level is just not panic attack level. But she said, when you mention thoughts running through your head and you're not being able to turn them off, and she was like, it sounds like some overthinking. You will overthink, but then you go to the extreme. Like your body just automatically, it's no in between. It's just like, boom, this is what it is. Like, I know.
0 to 100.
Yeah. So she helped me to understand that I struggle with anxiety from that capacity. I've seen like the panic attack. My sister struggles with panic attacks. So when she gets like that, I try to calm her down, but it's like that don't make sense. So typically we get our dad involved and he's able to like be like, let me bring you back. But you do have to be aware that you struggle with it, because when you're aware, it's easier to kind of like be in control of it a little bit. But when you're not aware, it's just kind of like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
But how, I guess, and it's for you more so, because you said your therapist kind of helps you. Like, how do you become aware of it? Like, how do you know, okay, this is what's happening, without it happening a few times first? Like, how do you start to feel like, okay, I feel it coming on now, or is it something you feel coming on, or is it just something that you just know?
I say now I know, like something might trigger it. And so now I'm paying more attention to when I'm being triggered and what's triggering it. So like knowing when you're being triggered is easy. Trying to identify like what part of it triggered you. Like, okay, was it what was said? Was it how it was said? Was it the scenario? It's so much. So you have to identify it so that the next time it happens, you can be in control of it a little bit more. And you still might not be able to like be in control of it. You still might get some anxiety from it. But just recognizing, okay, like what brings me anxiety, or being around what type of people bring me anxiety. Like for me, like just a small example, I don't like being in small spaces, because I feel like it go me jump to the extreme. Something happened, like then we all dead. Like that's that's the extreme, but that's
Yeah.
like I'm so serious. Like that's how it literally, like back when studio was how it was, the building it was, man, no. I used to be in there like this, like, oh no, you gotta watch everything. You gotta looking at people hand movements, looking at who arguing, who, because you're trying to be in control.
If in that scenario, right? How do you enjoy yourself and be in that space at the same time?
I don't know, honestly.
I'm trying to figure it out. Like I'm watching you.
I honestly don't know how I end up enjoying myself. I think that I just be like, let's shots, bottle, what we doing, something. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get the party going, so I don't have to think about it. But even still, I'm still over here like, let's leave we need to leave an hour before they close, because my anxiety is like something bad gonna happen, and this is the extent of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I mean, you made a valid point though. Like, you want to be in control. That's essentially what it is. It's something you can't control. You can't stop, or you know what I'm saying, do anything with in that point in time, and your body just freaking out because of that.
Yep. And you gotta let it, like, and I think that's the weird thing. Like, you have to, you can't, there's no way to stop it because it's gonna happen. So you might as well just be like, okay, like, all right, calm down. I have to talk to myself.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
I'd be like, okay, breathe. I do yoga classes here and there. So I'm learning how to be more in control of my breathing. So when I do feel my anxiety coming, I'm like, okay, Lacey, breathe.
Do
breathe
you
and
meditate?
work. Yes,
Okay.
I have picked up on that. But see, even with having anxiety, it was hard because I'm over here trying to meditate and I'm over here like, dang, girl, you forgot to take out the meat. Now what you gonna cook? Oh, goodness, now I got to do this. I'm not going to make it in time. I ain't got my gas light on.
You see, I feel like even thinking like that, you kind of causing your own anxiety because now you have all these thoughts running through your mind.
Yes, I'm like, golly.
That's
Okay,
so
meditate,
accurate.
breathe. No, girl.
Yeah.
How you deal with it? Because you don't. Do you see a therapist? I don't know
I
if you-
did for like about 6 months. I got through my job 2 jobs ago,
Mhm.
and I was still going forth with them, and then they found out I was fired. And,
So they said,
went from there. But yeah, it was cool. I definitely liked it. I wasn't seeing her, but more so because of my anxiety though. Like that's kind of something like how you were saying. You figured out ways to identify and see what
Mhm.
triggers you and stuff. So that's something I kind of had nipped in the bud. I feel like
Mhm.
personally, I just more so was trying to talk to her like through my trauma.
Mhm.
Like that's what I was talking about, like with my dad and other things I went through in my childhood, and just try to make sense of that
Yeah.
pretty much. And we was doing pretty good. And then her parents, like one of her parents died. Like it was crazy. Like one of her parents died. We had to stop talking for like a good minute. And then she had to go to a whole nother state and do the funeral and everything. And I start sending her stuff and like
That's
trying
dope.
to
Yeah, that's
motivate
dope.
her
Yeah.
and everything. And we wound up back talking. She was like, "Man, I ain't forgot who was in therapy. Me and you, like, like you was holding it down."
That was up. I like that.
But shit, I used to have like some of the same issues, especially with meditating. And I figured out that that's more so normal. Like that's supposed to happen because the way our brains are set up. So like the whole point of the meditation is just to keep bringing back the awareness back to your breathing,
Mhm.
back to you
Back to
calming down.
yourself.
Yeah, back to yourself.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that's usually how I go about it as well.
I mentioned the therapist, and I don't want to go in order of my notes that I do got. I'm going off my memory right now, but I think one of the best parts of your episode you just put out was the very end, when you mentioned how you found the therapist that was right for you.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's spoke about enough because I know you went through the job, so you just kind of went with kind of whatever they gave you, and hopefully it worked out. I'm
No,
assuming.
they had like a little
they
thing.
had a questionnaire?
They had a questionnaire in there to make sure. I had a black woman. I had a
Okay.
black woman, older black woman. She kind of had like a grandma, motherly kind of feel to it. So I was like, okay, cool.
Chill.
Rock with it. No, I'm just saying, like that's the type
Grandma.
of vibe I could talk to her. I felt comfortable talking with her.
Warming,
That was up. I
comforting.
know, right?
Yeah,
Grandma,
comforting.
grandma.
Like I'm saying, that's what I meant. That's
had
what I meant. I'm
pancakes?
We got
sorry.
you.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I meant, though.
But I thought it was dope because she mentioned like doing the research and asking certain questions, like, and then I think one of the questions you were like, what I want to accomplish?
Like I interviewed my therapist. Like, girl,
Are you fit for me? motherfucker?
right? Yes, that's where I'm at in life. Like we ain't wasting no time. Are you for me too? Like just because you're a therapist, because I also learned that even though there are therapists out here, they don't specialize in everything. So you
Right.
when you looking for a therapist, like initially I started therapy for trauma, but I identified through therapy that I struggle with anxiety and depression. Like she was like, this is by definition what you're struggling with. And she told me the type of depression. I don't even remember what specifically the anxiety was called, but I know how she described it was just like a lower level. But anyway, when I found her, or how I found her, when I talk about the site, because I, no offense to any other race, but I just wanted to, do therapy with somebody that I feel like could be relatable to me, that wouldn't get offended with certain things that I may struggle with. So I specifically typed in Black therapist in Augusta, Georgia. And then I went through all these sites, and then the site I found her on had like autobiographies, and it said what they specialize in. So some might specialize in relationship trauma, but the relationship trauma is specifically about family, and it's not like intimate relationship.
Gotcha.
So I'm over here like, okay, I need somebody that can help me with my childhood trauma. I need to understand like my relationship trauma. I need this, I need that, I need this. So I ended up going with the lady that I went with based off of what she specialized in. But I also did choose somebody that was older because I said, you're wise and experienced. So not only are you going to give me professional advice, but you're going to be giving me also advice based on you being wise.
Right, right.
So then on top of that, you Black. So cool. Everything worked out. So when we did my consultation, it was so funny because she texted me like, hey, do the consultation or whatever. I'm like, how much is it? She was like, no, it's free. Okay. She was like, I need to make sure that this is a good fit for you. Okay, cool. So we did it, and she had asked me like what my angle was with therapy. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish? Have you done therapy before? You know, what made you change therapist? You know, whatever. So at the very end, she was like, do you have any questions for me? I said, yes. Are you just a vent to you therapist, or are you going to assign me homework? Because I need to understand and have an action plan for the things that I'm experiencing. Like, I don't want to just be venting. I can call my daddy for that.
I'm gonna clap it up for you for being ready, man. You was ready. She might have had an anxiety attack from talking to you, man. To be honest with you. Even the head move right now, like, are you ready? Like, hey, just, I got you. I'm gonna give you some homework down. Shit. But I like that though, because you need to know that. Like, I think if somebody was going through something or wanting to look for a therapist, I would send them that, because the question that you were saying you ask people or you get that from experience. Like, maybe not asking in the past. Like you said, you had a therapist when you were younger. It was just a vent session. You vent, okay, that's what's up. Yeah, yeah. And you go home. Then that's that. And then you come back again. How the week went? All right, you go home. You come back. So you do need that. I think that's important to kind of get you over the hump of like getting to the origin and then trying to problem solve how we get past it or beyond it. So I did like that part of it. I liked every part of it, but I like that part. I like how you broke down in the beginning too. Like you went through pretty much. You almost did like a paper. You know, like when you're younger, you do like a thesis statement and you trying to say, hey, such and such, I'm talking about this. I ain't trying to be funny. I'm being dead ass. But you did, I'm going to talk this. And then you went and talked about everything for real. So I thought that was dope because you kind of knew what you were going to talk about. So I knew a part I wanted to hear more when I put on cruise control, when I needed to listen to it more. So I did like that. Like you kind of walked us through like each step by step of what you was going through. I do have the question. I didn't know how to ask it, but I'm going to ask it anyway just because I know you, so it should be fine. It's nothing funny. See,
Oh, God.
I asked this question because you mentioned at one point, you was like, you know, you wanted to figure out like why you picking the wrong man, da-da-da. It's not a man question. Not a man question. I was going to ask you if you think it's more so picking the wrong man or more so it's something like men just not strong enough men to deal with what you got going on. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I ain't trying to diss the men you talk to. I'm not saying they weren't strong. I'm just, as you speak, I know like if a man is coming into your life and you have all the stuff that you're dealing with and trying to unpack, you have to unpack at some point. They're gonna be a partner anyway.
Yeah.
Got the child stuff, then you got the younger version stuff, the teenage stuff, and you got the early adulthood stuff, and you got the mid-20s stuff, and so it's everything to unpack. I wonder if someone would either want to run away from that probably, or, the right person gonna stay there obviously, but everybody don't have that strong mental capacity to deal with all that stuff.
Right.
Or to handle a person that's dealing with all that. Because they don't have to deal with it, you dealing with it. They just gotta deal with you.
Yeah.
Trying to help you out, just a little something. When you said that, it entered my mind first, I was like, damn, she thinking is her picking the wrong people, and it's probably not that. It's probably that they not strong enough.
Well, it's funny that you brought that question up because my very last session, which I mean I'm still going, but the most recent session, we focused on relationships. And so one of her questions to me was, she said, do you believe that you're worthy of what you want from a man? And I said no. And then I started crying. And we sat there. Like, I will say, she let me have my whole hour. I'm sitting there, I'm sitting with the feeling, because I learned that from therapy years ago, sit with your feelings. And so she was like, why are you crying? What part about what I said made you cry? What was that emotion from? And I said, because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm very negative when I talk about my love life. I do say things like I'm never going to get married, but here I am wanting to experience that. And I said, I'm honest and positive in all other areas of my life, but not in my dating life. And I said, you make a valid point. Like when you ask me that question, it's like I do, want a good man. I do want to be able to be with somebody that can communicate and respect me and, stuff like that. I do want that, but I don't believe I'm going to get it. Like I sometimes feel like I'm not worth getting that. And when she said, when we unpacked that question, she said, you are worthy and, stuff like that. I'm going to tell you that. And there is somebody out here, whatever the case may be. And at the end, she said, do you believe what I said? I said, no. In therapy, you got to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
In order for it to work, for real.
I could tell you and believe by how you were just saying it. How you summarized everything she said.
No. And so she was like, I know. We got to work on that. So I do feel like, funny, but in my most recent experience, I realized that I do need a strong man. Like, but when I say strong, I mean you don't have to be there, but you got to be willing to get there as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, understand that I am unpacking my things, but I'm unpacking mine and dealing with it in a healthy way.
Right.
We ain't getting drunk fighting, and unpacking it that way. So.
Yeah, I mean, that I would say strong, but I mean, a strong man is really gonna be a leader for the most part. So you just gotta be a leader. And I think me knowing you and what I do know of you, I think naturally you're independent for the most part.
Yeah.
So they gotta be strong in the sense to even get you to want to follow them.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I gotta trust, and I feel like that comes from action. Like essentially, if I can trust that you can handle something so small, I'll leave you alone. But the thing with me is I've not trusted that. Like, because in the back of my head, I'm just always like, well, let me just make sure. I don't want to have to just make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to have to. I want to have to be completely fine that knowing that you can handle whatever this is, and I can trust you to lead me to that and whatever. Like a lot of men are running to like, oh, well, let me lead. I don't have to let you be nothing that you already are. Like, how does that make sense?
It's almost like asking, like, hey, you mind if I take this?
Like you asking for permission. I gotta be like, no. Now it's you're alpha woman. Like, let's not even get on that. You asking me to let you lead.
Yeah.
How that sound? How am I supposed to trust your guidance?
That comes from the wrong men having podcasts too. But that's a whole nother conversation because them words shouldn't even be spoken of.
What's up with all them Pepsis?
That's his favorite shit. If I wasn't running late, I would have stopped by and got him one.
You don't need.
Enabler. All right, be back. This is Juan, the enabler, by the way. I want to make sure that's known. All right, he's gonna give you them Pepsis every time, man. But another thing you spoke about, and I ain't got notes of this. Depression. I think another good point is she made a depression versus a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that comparison because I do think a lot of people there do that. I'm depressed. No, you ran late this morning. All right, you got a ticket.
Your
okay,
man made you mad.
That's it. Well, yeah, maybe.
Went through his phone. You had a bad day.
Hey, listen, we gotta stop with the relationship stuff. All right, look. See, your man made you mad. Like, what's up with you? You gotta chill.
Your girl made you mad. Feel better.
Not really, but yeah. I could deal with that. But how often for you do you think you had bad days versus this depression? And when do you know it's depression? Because how many string of bad days? Because you can have 2-3 bad days. How many string of bad days can you have for you like, oh no, I'm depressed? It's not just a few days.
I almost know immediately, kinda, because like now I've studied myself. So, like, depression for me is like sitting in the room, curtains closed, I'm sleeping all day, I'm not eating, I'm not showering, I'm not doing nothing today. Versus like, you know what, I'm going to lay in the bed and I'm not going to be bothered with nothing because I need a day. So I feel like I've studied myself well enough now to know and see the signs. Like, a couple months ago, I had seen myself like going in there into that shadow. And it was like the first day I said, let me just watch it. Let's just see. The next day I woke up feeling the exact same way. I was like, oh no. Then day 3. So now I'm on the phone with my auntie. Like I'm going back into a depression. Like I feel it. Like my body is just like, you here, and that's it. Like it's almost like shock that you woke up and was breathing.
I know from interviewing you a few times too. When you were younger, you said that a lot of people always thought you were mean. Mm-hmm. Even now, but I ain't even getting to that. I be hearing all that.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
But we ain't even gonna go there. But I do wonder, right? When you were younger, even now though, but when you were younger, I do wonder like how much of that was you just really being depressed and not wanting to be around nobody. Like I don't want to talk to you. I'm not.
Yeah, I was.
I'm not a fun kid right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to play with y'all.
Like what? You want me to laugh about what? What are we playing exactly? You
tag,
know what I'm saying?
Just playing
like,
tag. They're just playing tag.
And I'm it every time.
They come to look for nobody.
Chill. So I do like, and I like that interaction right there, because I did notice also in the podcast, and I'll do the same thing here. I like that when it get kind of serious and something, you just gotta laugh, because if not, you'll break down sometimes, out of nowhere, for real, right? So I did like the balance you had, and they were like, it's certain thing I'm never gonna bring up just because I don't want you to cry. I know that's not my goal. I'm not going to have my cry on camera.
Yeah,
I had a few of them now, but it'd be kind of awkward. I ain't gonna lie, because I'm like, oh man, what I do here? Where I go from here? What's the next question now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For real. I had a guy one time. I was here, and he had one arm. I don't know why I said that for, but he had one arm, and we did over there. And I asked about his grandma. He started talking about it, and he just started crying. Like, oh shit! He was 6 minutes in. I didn't know what to do from there.
6 minutes.
I didn't know what to do. I was like, damn. Well, I'm gonna start over. I don't know. So I'll make sure I don't get into that. Therapy. So therapy since 13. You said essentially 13. What advantage do you think you've had with mental health, with being in therapy, or disadvantages since 13 years old?
I feel like the biggest advantage is like understanding the goal of therapy. I was able to understand now like what therapy is for. Because like, I mean, initially a lot of people like, oh, I'm not going to therapy, pay somebody to talk about my problems.
It's mostly our people.
Yeah. And it's like essentially like, it's not about talking about your problems, but it is, but it's also about understanding the root cause. So like I learned a different way to look at therapy, like in a more positive way, in a more helpful way, was an advantage. Another advantage is like learning the different things I'm feeling. Like, okay, when you feeling this or this, these are symptoms of anxiety. You're experiencing depression right now. Like this is what you experience. This is your level of depression. So I feel like that's an advantage. I don't really have any disadvantages when it comes to like therapy for myself.
Right.
I feel like everything has been an advantage for me. Like after every therapist I've ever had, I feel like I grew in some way mentally. Some way.
Yeah, when you was talking about that, you said you had 5 or 6 or 5 or 6.
I'm on 5.
Yeah. You got 5 on.
I think I'm good. See,
I'm just,
like no man.
And I'm trying to make sure. The one other thing I did like, and Juan, you can speak to this if you want a little bit too. I know you got a good relationship now, so I like how when you do talk about being younger, going through therapy, the changes you went through with your parents being divorced and all of that, you always preface like, hey, this is me then. You know, I don't have a problem with my stepmom now, but this is me then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do like that, because seeing y'all now, you would never guess that, because y'all always like, seem super cool.
Say.
You know,
like,
but when you speak on it, I'm like, okay. Yeah. But she said it too. She was like, yeah, at first she wasn't.
I wasn't with it. Oh.
She
I was not with it. Like, it was bad. But I think that it's important to, because people get to like giving their opinion on stuff, and it's like, understand that this is my mentality when I was 13. I'm not speaking from 27. Right now I'm talking to you from 13. So at 13, my perception is just like, okay, I have all these changes already on top of things that I'm dealing with as a child that I'm not even quite sure, you know, because I even said in there how I had got evaluated. Like, I had a family member pack me up.
Yeah, middle
You're
of the night.
crazy.
Middle of the night, you said, right?
Yeah, middle of the night, pack me up. You crazy. You got XYZ problems. Took me down to get evaluated to prove that I was crazy or whatever the case may be. So I'm trying to unpack and understand these emotions and feelings, you know, as a child. Then hear my dad, you know, my parents get divorced, you know, and this all I knew, you know, or whatever. Then you come in with this lady. Again, I'm speaking from 13. You come in here with this lady talking about you gonna get married. What's my favorite color?
Start quizzing them. Nah.
Like you talking about marrying somebody else, but you ain't spend no time with me. Like this is how I'm unpacking this at 13. Like, you know, I don't feel like you gave me the daughter and dad relationship that I feel like I deserved. But now here you were trying to bring in a wife. Then on top of that, not only do y'all go get married, then she pop up pregnant. Like, why we doing too much?
That be happening sometimes.
You know what I'm
People get
saying?
married.
Like, life, like, what's going on?
Lacey wasn't going for nothing.
Like, so it was
Flag on
hard.
the planes.
Take them back.
Now, my dad he was scoring touchdowns. Because I'm like, bro, you doing too much. No, for real. So it's just like, it was a lot to like, trying to unpack and like understand myself as is, and then you got to think about all of the people I have in my ear making little comments like, you know, oh, you just look like you mad at the world. Ain't nothing that bad in the world. You don't know. Like, you don't know what I'm dealing
Like
with.
adults.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
like family members, like, or everybody always did talk about how mean I looked, and I never changed my facial
Yeah, at all.
expression.
We know
like,
that. Yeah.
ever.
Even yesterday, it was
You know what
the
I'm
same.
saying?
Yeah.
So it was just like,
That's what they be saying.
So niggas be
The
niggas
streets
be
be
hitting
saying
you with
that.
that smile today. Huh?
yeah, like
That bullshit.
smile.
Yeah.
For what?
Okay.
Give me something to laugh about. Tell a joke.
Yeah.
But no, for real. So it was just a lot to unpack with my stepmom, and then like, you know, dealing with my parents being divorced. I had my mom in my ear too, like kind of influencing me to have these feelings and letting me feel like it was okay.
Right.
You know, which I expected from her, because now in my adult life I understand that you were hurt. You know, but as a child, I'm like, okay, I'm going with it.
Yeah.
You know, hate her, you know, make it worse. And it wasn't working because he's still married to her. So it didn't work. So it was like, when we lived in that house, when they got custody, this is so funny. I woke up every day, my entire high school career, and I never said good morning to her. And of course, essentially that's disrespectful. Like, of course, like from 27-year-old me speaking, that's disrespectful. But at the time, 13, 14, 15-year-old me, it's just like, you're not my mama.
Thought you was up, didn't you?
You know, I'm just like, say something.
I ain't saying nothing to her. I don't care what it is.
I thought I was doing something. Like, I know, you know what I'm saying? But then as I got older, and it was just like certain things that she started to show me. She showed me that, look, I'm not here to hurt you. But it was less of her talking and more of her doing that cultivated that relationship and sparked that change.
So I'm not gonna get into it from an aspect of what you got into it on your episode. I want them to go watch yours and see. But I do think of what you just said. I just kind of made that connection. You had mentioned how your actions affected other people, and I now wonder how that affected her. Like to get up every day and to know like she ain't gonna talk
That
to me
you're
today.
hated.
Yeah, just like she hates me. So.
Because it was strong. And she asked me one time and I said yes.
Jesus, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, like,
What
that's
was her reaction to that?
it hurt her feelings, and she cried to my dad about it. So I actually did ask her, how did my actions affect her when I was living there? Like, I asked her. It's funny how life's been around. So when I ended up in a situation where I'm dating somebody with a kid, I'm like, how do I deal with this? I'm like, oh crap, life. You know what I'm saying? So
Shit
we
do come
had a
back
whole
around. Shit do come back around.
we had
bro.
a whole heart to heart, and I just asked her, like, how did that make you feel? And she was just like, I knew you hated me, and I just didn't know what else I could do to show you, like, that I wasn't here to hurt you or whatever. So, you know, I apologize. 27-year-old me did apologize to how the other ages treated her.
13 to 26, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like,
13
I want to say
years.
like 25, 20, 24.
You can go with
maybe.
26 though, because you
That's
don't
fine,
know.
too. We
It's
can
all
do
good.
it.
Yeah. But as long as you apologize, right? That's all that
I
matters. You got it
did.
out the
I
way, you know what I'm
did. I
saying?
did.
What's your hat say? High off healing?
Yes.
I like that.
Thanks.
What does that mean? Go ahead and break that down for us. Look at me. I be doing this, bro. I be doing this. I don't know what anybody else do. I be doing this. I don't care.
You selling these?
Yeah.
All right, bet.
Yeah.
How much? 20? Must be more than $20. What's going on?
Right now, I'm only doing pre-order for them right now, only because, like, you know, as soon as you drop something, I want it, I'm gonna get it. They don't get it, so it is pre-order only.
What's the price though?
I haven't put a price on the hats yet.
I got 20 in the car, so it's $20.
Oh,
for me.
but How Y'all Feeling just came from like a couple days ago. I think I posted it on Facebook. Actually, I was like, you know, lately I've been How Y'all Feeling because like I was just sitting and thinking about like life, my life, and how I've been feeling in my life. And I was like, dang, you know, before I thought that I was like happy and, you know, but this is a different type of feeling. It's just like a feeling of like being more in control. I'm setting boundaries. I ain't feeling bad about the boundaries I'm setting. Like, it's like, dang, like this how it feel to be like control. You know, everybody say control what you can control, but nobody tells you how. Everybody love throwing that sand around. So it's just like, okay, so how do I do that? Like, and not getting disrespectful to do it. Like, I found myself having conversations with people that I just was like, I would never even speak to you, let alone piss on you if you was on fire. But
So you just truthfully like recognizing your growth.
Yeah, like, and honestly, and also like owning who I am. Like, okay, like this is who I am. And maybe you shouldn't have did this, or maybe you shouldn't have said that. Own that. How can you react to this now? You know, it's just crazy. Like, I just feel happy and comfortable with who I am and not feeling like, oh, I did a story time on this on Snapchat and I said, you know, you're not everybody cup of tea. And it's okay with that. That don't mean you gotta change your flavor to fit their taste.
Okay, I see you.
Like,
your bag. I like that.
It's all kind of tea out here. They can go pick a bag. Your bag just wasn't for them. And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's not.
Like, people will make you feel bad because you're not for them, whether it's friendships or relationship or whatever the case may be. It's just like, bro, pick another bag. Like, it's all good.
I like that. That's dope. I like that.
So that's where
I like you be in your bag nowadays, man. It's a different Lacey here, man.
It's getting a little big.
I like heel Lacey, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I've ever seen heel Lacey. How you doing? I'm Jermaine.
Lacey.
Right,
Lacey, I prefer.
Hey, what your heel say, Lacey? So another quote from your podcast was, "I'm the problem," and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But I wanted to kind of come to you now. You know, you listen to her podcast, and her "I'm the Problem" came after her kind of briefly talking about the domestic violence relationship she was in, and her thinking she was the problem from that trauma, right? The trauma you've been through. What questions did you ask? And the only thing I could think of is, why me? I don't know if that's a question you would ask, but what question would you label the trauma that you went through when your dad passed away, or even as a kid?
Just feeling like maybe I could have did more, or you know, could I spend more time with him? Like that time when this happened and that happened, like I was mad, I was upset, or I was annoyed by him, but I could have went and did that.
Yeah,
if I knew this was gonna happen, you know what I'm saying? A part of me felt like I could have saved him, even though I know I couldn't have. Like I feel like I did try to like give him the tools I had, as far as like trying to eat healthier and go do this, go do that, and he was rejecting it. So I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Realistically, I can't put that on myself, but like that was something I was thinking about in the very beginning. Like, could have saved him. I could have been here more. I could have did this. I could have did that. And I don't know, it take time to like really, you know, come to terms with yourself. Like, no, you couldn't have did any of that. They want to change the outcome of it.
I think a part of that,
that's okay.
A part of that might be like a little bit of survivor's remorse. I think you feel like you could have saved them if y'all had a better relationship. But people probably still said no. From the story you tell me of your dad, it's mostly funny though.
Yeah.
He was he was. When if I say no, it's no. I'm not. I'm not budging. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he would have. If y'all having a relationship, would have been like, okay, well I'm gonna do it now because you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I can understand you feeling that way because whenever you have a parent die and you feel like you could have spent more time, like you could have. I think it's easy to feel bad, like damn, I wasted time doing something else, but I could have been doing this. That was more important. But you know, you live and you learn. You don't really know.
Yeah.
So I wondered that because when she said I'm the problem, and I was thinking like, okay, well, from what she was saying, that question makes sense to have that question in your mind. But I think about you and a part that we didn't speak on. I know we spoke about your dad passing. So I'm gonna try to summarize that a little bit. For him, Lacey, I know his dad passed, but it also was around Father's Day. Well, the day after Father's Day, I'm sorry.
It was literally
on Father's Day,
technically speaking, it was on Father's Day.
So around that time, he get a lot of anxiety. So when I met him working, and I remember he was, so you know, I'm a manager, so, but he wasn't performing that week. I'm like, wait, tell your boy he ain't gonna make it. Like, I ain't know at the time, so don't make that face. I didn't know, right? I didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't.
We wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, he ain't gonna make it.
I'm like, hey man,
see what's up with him, like, or.
It was during COVID. We ain't have time for that during COVID, man. You know,
it was a wild time. It was a wild time.
Okay. Yeah, I was managing.
Anybody that was working during that time, like any job I be hearing about, they definitely went through it with COVID.
Oh yeah.
Well, we never had no issues though. That was the only time if I was like, well, hey.
Oh yeah.
Because normally that's it. You just gone. Like if you're not doing right, you just gonna go. Like, but I told myself, hey, go holler at your boy. He just ain't like him. I don't know. He ain't doing the task we giving. I'm not really sure what's going on. Like incomplete every day. He finally texted me and told me. I said, oh, okay, damn, I ain't know. But then we started to speak, and you started to hear about some childhood stuff that he went through, whether it was living, I'm just saying, like some in a car with his family, or I think hotels. One of the stories that always stand out to me was when you were saying that you went to West Side, and he had friends, he hung with his friends, but if you know West Side's on Washington Road, he lived with, was it a Super 8 or what was it? Motel 6?
It was a Travelodge. And, well, I don't know what it's called now. It's probably not called Travelodge. But I lived in Travelodge. And we would walk to Chick-fil-A together. Because they'll wait for their parents or whoever was with me at that time. They'll come scoot them up. I'll wait till they got picked up and then walk my ass to the hotel. Like, after they gone and shit. Like, I could have been home and doing homework and shit, but you know, I ain't want nobody to see me.
Yeah.
So earlier when she was talking about like child trauma, I wanted to kind of bring it in, but I know it's hard to bring that in with. I didn't want to like mix up what we was talking about, but yeah, because like when we spoke during them a couple of days we had worked together. I think that next week I brought him on. I was like, "Come to the studio with me. I want you to talk about it." We never put it out though, but for him talking about it was enough. You know what I'm saying? Just getting it out. Now because it's hard, like when you want to talk about certain things and you got parents that can hear it, you kind of got to
like be respectful.
Nah, well, yes. You don't want them to feel bad.
Yeah, you don't want to feel.
But it's your truth though.
Yeah.
So we had to find a way to him to say certain things without her feeling, because dad was passed away, without her feeling like, man, I'm a failure as a parent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
we just did it a few times, and the more he spoke about it, I think the more he kind of got open, and you could see him being more active and stuff like that. I also
talked to her too, because I do music, and that was a part of the thing why I kind of stopped doing music, because the stuff I wanted to do was like really dark, and it was like talking about certain stuff, and I hadn't talked to her about it, so it's like that's crazy. Like you would just hear this song somewhere, or somebody tell you about this song, or you see this interview and you're hearing about this, and I haven't talked to you about it, or I haven't even checked with you and see if it would be okay for me to share that, or how would you feel about it if I shared that? And she's like, you went through it too. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's your truth. Like, it didn't just happen to me. It's not exclusive things about me. It's things that happen in your life too. You was right along there with me. So, do what you got to do. And I was like, okay, cool. And that just helped me.
For that, because that's I can relate to that. It being difficult because you want to. I mean, now I don't care, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's not, I don't care from a disrespectful standpoint, but it's like, this is my perspective of what happened to me.
For sure.
And your perspective of what happened is going to be different.
Yeah.
And my dad during a therapy session helped me to understand that. We had a whole therapy session where I told him, like, I seen you hitting mom and doing this and doing that. And that it was then that I felt like I was being respected because I was able to share my truth. So from that standpoint on, like the very first thing I released before my podcast, I had started a blog years ago. And I talked about a lot of things in there, it gave me anxiety when I released it because I'm like, oh my God, if my mama catch a hold on to this blog, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause she not gonna see it from a standpoint of like, this is her truth. It's gonna come from a standpoint of like, oh, you're bashing me and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, I
Definitely want that.
definitely get it. Yeah, I get that.
So let's start now. No, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna say that for the last one. So you said needed help. Dating distracted you from getting the help you need, right? In addition to that, how much of what did, like, when you started to go live and do that and talk about the story, right? How did that help you, and what did that help you with? Or did it just come out because you wanted to do a podcast? And I feel like maybe it did, but I also feel like you were so consistent with it that it also distracted you from other things as well, or helped you with something. I don't know, because you said you got anxiety. I don't know, like.
Yeah. Like when I started going live and talking about like my dating life and stuff.
Yeah, being the mess, the stuff you don't like.
Yeah, the mess. Honestly, initially, I was trying to find a new narrative. You know, like y'all knew relationship Lacey. So now I'm like, well, dang, what is single Lacey gonna look like?
That's what you gonna call it? Single Lacey?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else is it?
No, nothing. Single Lacey sounds great.
Anyway, so y'all knew relationship
Single
Lacey, and I shared a lot even when I was in a relationship. Like I was very open about a lot of things. And then when I became single, I'm like, okay, so now what are you gonna talk about? And then that's when I said, you know, talk about real life. That's what you did. You talked about it in a relationship. Real life this is what it looks like now trying to date and you coming out of something or whatever. So honestly, it ended up inspiring me to change my entire narrative, because I think I even talked about like my domestic violence. Then I talked about depression before. I talked about when I was suicidal. So I didn't even limit it to just like dating, but I will say like dating definitely can be a distraction for somebody that's not ready to like really like dive into what's going on. You know, everybody believes in that whole like best way to get over somebody is get up under somebody else. No, that's the best way to harm somebody. You putting everything that you didn't unpack and deal with from your last relationship and probably relationships before that onto this new person. Like, how inconsiderate. That's how I feel about it. But and I can say that and actually be honest and say I did that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, not saying like, okay, I deserve some of the things that I experienced, but I can see how I played a role, because if I had took some time and unpack things versus like, you know, using it as a distraction and avoiding things that I really need to talk about, deal with, go to therapy, whatever the case may be, then maybe it wouldn't have got as far.
So to add on to that, what you just said, I know earlier we mentioned you saying, quote unquote, I'm the problem, but I do think from what you just said just now, it's not necessarily you the problem. I think that if dating was kind of something you used to get distracted with, it was just that you didn't you didn't handle the things you needed to handle before you started dating. Let's say that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, you definitely, you definitely do.
But that could be hard to do because that could take years. You know,
it can take years, but you're not looking to see. This is the thing. You're not looking to like solve everything before you jump into something, because ultimately you don't even know if you worked on things until you go trying to add somebody back into that picture anyway. But what I will say is that I see a different approach that I'm taking now with dating than I did before. Like we all have like what they call like standards that we go by.
Yeah.
But it ends up just being like a preference, because then you like it's like I want a man that makes six figures, but then I'm selling for somebody that makes 30K. I prefer a man with six figures. That's really what you're saying. That's what you prefer. Because what you got and what you know, like that's two different things. So just like
I'm gonna get the water instead of the Pepsi this time. I don't know, I'm getting choked up by the motherfucker.
So like all around just being more intentional about like how I'm dating and, you know, recognizing what's triggering me while I'm dating.
This nigga finna kill the bottle.
I'm back. Threw me off a little bit.
What threw you off? The standard and the preference?
Nah, it was something. It's good.
Oh, the 30,000 and the 6 figures?
That's a big difference.
I'm just saying. Like, that's real.
Yeah, it is real.
That's for real. So, like,
Facts.
yeah, you just you approach things differently. Nobody's saying get yourself fully together before you get back into a relationship, but you do need to be at a point where you're aware. People are not even aware of like themselves and like.
It's probably hard to do. I'm gonna just say it. I was thinking that when you said it earlier, but it's gonna be hard to do because I know you like whatever. But you know how like you interview the therapist, you probably need to do that with the men.
I agree.
And then, but it's hard to stand on it sometimes. If you like
And I
somebody,
got
you
put
like
you on
somebody.
90-day probation. Nah, I got put you on a
but-
year because
Damn, probation? What you been watching? Think like a man?
gotta make sure.
What you yo? What
We gotta
you
make
got
sure you.
going on?
This is your interview. You might get fired.
Damn.
Hey, now some jobs do.
You
that.
might get
Yeah.
fired.
That nigga seasonal.
Hey, listen.
No benefits,
That's crazy.
nothing till a year. You can't get benefits until you've been here
I was on the
365 days.
Nigga ain't
I was on the
full-time,
phone with my
part-time,
auntie the other day.
seasonal.
I said, "This is giving what they say when you apply for a job and they don't want to go with you, and it's so nice. It's like
Not qualified.
no, it's like something about like we looking for other candidates or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
definitely the
I
shit,
said, this
yeah.
is giving that. Like, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
However,
Like, we
That's
appreciate
We found a
you
better fit.
applying,
Yeah,
but
great job, man. For real. But nah, you ain't it.
essentially,
basically.
I'd rather them say that than them say shit. Some of them
Yeah.
don't say nothing.
See,
You'll
okay,
never hear back
I
from these
said
niggas,
that.
right?
And see, okay, so what you really think about that? Because I said that, and I said I think ghosting is unhealthy. Like, not saying that you owe somebody the reason, like why it didn't work or whatever the case may be, but like, should you at least say something?
I feel like you should.
Yeah.
It'll give it like a definite end on both sides, and it won't be that search for closure.
Yeah. All right, we can
Not with
get
just
back on track.
jobs, but also
Sorry.
with people.
Nah,
relationships.
I need closure. Ain't that two closure than people? That's all. Big deal. Tell me, leave me alone. I don't know. Like,
Nah, yeah.
you leave. That's it. I feel like you're
It
going.
depends on what it is, though.
Yeah.
Like a
Sometimes
job.
you know.
Is- I mean,
Nah, but yeah, something.
I think you know if in 3 weeks they don't call you, you ain't got no motherfucking job.
But
Yeah.
like, wow, like, did I not interview well?
It depends, though.
Maybe they did call the wrong number. You know, who knows?
With
They
a
did.
job,
They
it can
could.
be different too, though. Like,
I've never called anybody and said you ain't get the job. But I tell them that, say, look, if you don't hear from us, you ain't got to keep calling. I do tell them that. You ain't got to
you
call.
will get but shit, with the jobs we didn't.
You mentioned in your episode, you said experience changes you.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out who you are with this experience.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of break that down. I know what you mean, but break it down just for the audience that's watching. Like when you say experiences changes you, and then you got to figure out who you are with that experience.
Yeah. So like, what therapist number was that? 1, 2. I think this was therapist 4. She taught me that. So when I went to therapy after my pregnancy situation or whatever, I was having a hard time trying to get back to Lacey, right? And like that was what the majority of my sessions was about. I'm struggling with trying to like how do I get back to Lacey? And she said, well, who is Lacey now? And I'm like, I don't know. That's what I'm paying you for. Like, you tell me.
Yeah.
And so she was like, you know who Lacey was before pregnancy. Now you had the situation with the pregnancy or whatever. So now you have to redefine who that is. What does Lacey like? What does Lacey not like? Do things and spend time with yourself. She encouraged me to do a lot of things by myself, which I was already doing before, but like going to the movies and, trying new foods and, stuff like that. Because essentially when something bad happens to us, we want to figure out how to get back to that person. And that person no longer exists now because this experience has been added.
Yep.
That's dope. We actually been talking about that. I think each episode we mentioned that. Like when
Yep.
something happened, that person don't exist.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
gone.
done with.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you a new person. That
Yep.
was perfect how you explained it too. I think a lot of times too, whenever you go through something like that, it is common to want to get back to your normal self or what you thought was your normal self, but now it's a new normal.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's I like that. That's dope. That's dope. How did you interpret that when you first had as far as even with the pregnancy situation? After that, how did you approach like being Lacey that went through this?
So the first thing that I did was I started to pick up things that I had put in my in my routine before. So like I was going to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. I was going to yoga, you know, I had like this routine type of thing. And when I hit depression, like I stopped doing everything. So, you know, the very first thing that she challenged me to do was she said, you know, when something happens and we get depressed, you know, because something triggered it. So now we depressed or whatever. She was like, people are always saying, you know, oh, it'll get better, you know, just start back doing everything you used to do. But she said you have to give yourself grace. She was like, do one thing and celebrate the one thing that you did. So if you know yesterday you were so depressed that you didn't even get out the bed, make it a habit, get out the bed, brush your teeth today. And celebrate just that. If you get back in the bed, it's okay. So like what I started to do to like redefine who I was pick up things that I used to do to see how I now feel about it. Like, do I actually enjoy yoga? Am I actually taking this in and trying to do this? Like, do I enjoy going to the movies? What kind of movies do I like? That's when I think I learned that I like a little comedy here and there. There's nothing wrong with a little joke.
You ain't know if you like laughing before?
Mm-mm.
You were so mean, you just didn't want to laugh. I got you.
Don't go
that
too
makes
far.
sense. Okay. We'll go with that.
So yeah,
Laughing at all.
I think that's what it's about. It's like trying new things, traveling, and like I did my first like 24-hour trip. Never did that before. Just looking at things from a different angle with this experience. It's like, how do I now add this? And then when I do talk about it, how do I talk about it without stumbling? Because I used to just be like, oh yeah, when I had that thing. Now I'm more free with it because it's life.
You said, so I know earlier you said something about, it was the saying you said about get over somebody, get under somebody, whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
I think a lot what you just said, I thought about like if you experience something about a traumatic or a bad experience, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not saying you want to get over those experiences, but to kind of cope through them. It's like you was coping by making new experiences, but also knowing that I experienced this as well.
Yeah.
So that's healthy because you know this exists, but I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be doing this if that didn't happen probably.
Yes, exactly. Like, and being grateful for the experience. Like, yeah, it happened. Okay, yeah, this was a bad situation. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's move forward. And what does moving forward look like though?
Yeah.
Like, we can't just like, oh, let's move forward. What does that look like? What do you want it to look like for you?
I know people that may not know you. I don't know like how they view what you say or do or how you respond to certain situations that they may think they know about you, whatever. One thing I can say is that any situation you may have had, even with a person, I ain't never like experienced you talking negative about the person. You've always been like, you always said positive things about people. Like even if it's your ex, whatever, like you always said positive things.
Yeah.
And I don't know people at least view that from you because they might think, if they don't watch the whole live, you think it's just being messy. You think, but I'm even in private, I'm talking like not like on live. I'm talking like, hey, nah, because this, that, third, never said nothing bad, And people probably can, but they just don't. So I always respect that when somebody like can speak from a positive standpoint from somebody they've been around for whether it's a year, 2, 3 years, whatever, how long. Because most times people only get negative.
Yeah.
Oh, piece of shit. Oh, this is weak,
Yeah.
But always been positive. So
Or
I do
recognizing
like
that when you do have moments like that, that you said that from a place of hurt.
that.
And that's okay. Like,
Definitely respect that.
So I know you talked about suicide a little bit on this episode. How hard was that to talk about, if at all, at this point, to talk about that and put it out to the world? Because this is now yours, not a guest. Not when you guest on somebody's stuff, you just kind of like you get the audience, but it's not your audience. So it's kind of like,
they might see it, they might not.
But this is like you pushing
I
it. It's
know,
like,
yeah.
hey, y'all watch this. It's me. Y'all watch this. So
Yeah.
now you're getting direct feedback from that. So was that ever a thought? Like, damn, I might can't go too deep into this, but you kind of went deep into it.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a thought. Cause like it's my journey, and honestly, I feel like you have to go deep. People like to touch on things at a surface level, and experiencing suicide thoughts is not surface level.
Yeah.
Like that's deep.
Mhm.
Like, so it was just like, when I did think about putting it out again, when I'm doing things, I'm never thinking about myself. And that's I don't know if that's a problem or not, but I'm not thinking about how it makes me feel or how it's gonna make, my sibling feel or my mama or this distant cousin or whoever, ex, whatever. I'm not thinking about them. I'm more so thinking about the people who are battling with this that's not talking.
Right.
And they don't feel comfortable talking. And then it's like, okay, who do I turn to? So that's more so what I think about when I put out anything. So the suicide thing is honestly was to get people to understand, like, the comments that people make about, like, oh, it's selfish to commit suicide. Is it selfish? Like, you got to now I'm going to put you here with somebody that had those thoughts. Like, I'm not thinking about you.
Yeah.
So essentially, yes, it is. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
but
that's why it's called suicide, though.
Right. So it's just like, yes, duh. But putting you in the headspace of somebody who's having those thoughts, like, I never thought I would experience that because I used to be one of those people. Like, why would you even do that? Like, that's dumb. That's selfish. Like, you leaving all these people behind. But essentially, you've reached a point where you feel like you don't have no support. So I'm leaving who behind?
Yeah, you just don't want to deal with life anymore. It's just, you don't wanna
essentially,
live.
like,
Yeah.
I'm fed up. Like, so when I touched on it, after I experienced it, honestly, it was a scary experience. Then I said, dang, like, this is what it feel like. I think I even, like, had explained, like, it feels like suffocating. I gave 2 descriptions, like suffocating, drowning. You in this ocean of water, you drowning. And it's like you got your hand out for help, but not really.
Yeah, like you don't want them to grab it. Really.
Yeah, like, just kidding type of thing, literally. Like, it's crazy. But it's like I'm wanting help, but then I'm like, nah, it's not worth it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah.
I think I know you said people giving advice on things they never experienced. A lot of times the advice is, oh, you gotta live for this, you gotta live for that. But at that moment, you're probably not trying to hear that.
No, you're not. It's not even probably. You don't care. Like, I remember when I did tell, I told my aunt that I was suicidal. She actually got to experience what that looked like from a visual standpoint of how I looked and stuff. Like, it was the worst feeling ever. And I remember her telling me, like, I don't have no kids. So she like, you got a niece and a nephew to live for. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you're not thinking
Y'all got
about that.
pictures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we got memories. Like, literally, that's how we thinking. Like, and once you reach that level, it's so hard to come back. Like, it's literally like tug of war.
Have you ever had suicidal thoughts?
Most definitely.
When anything she said, was you kind of like experiencing the same thing she was experiencing, or?
Yeah, like on both sides. Like, I was feeling like the shit was selfish and this, that, and third, and not intentionally trying to guilt trip anybody by saying go think of others, but that's essentially kind of what it is. You trying to get them to think about everybody else except for what they feeling. Like, think about how this person gonna feel when you get done. Think about this person and think about that, and it's like, no, like, you really should just show me that you're here for me.
Just a question. When somebody say that, and I don't know, I'm just asking you, I don't know, cause I never had to deal with that, but when somebody asks you that, did that push y'all further away from wanting to commit suicide or push you further to it? I feel like in that moment, people stood out not thinking about you, essentially.
Yeah.
You still thinking about other people. They're not saying don't do it because I love you, or don't do it, maybe they are, I don't know. But saying don't do it, think about this person, that person, like, I've been thinking about everybody for a long time. I want somebody to think about me. So.
You feel like niggas not listening for real. You feel like they're just trying to rush to the solution to hurry and just wipe it up really quick. Like, put a paper towel on that shit, throw a towel on that shit real quick. This will stop it. And it's like, no,
like
it's
a
not
Band-Aid.
like that. Yeah, like you're trying to put a Band-Aid on it. And it's,
hold on, let me stop the blood real quick.
It's not what it is. It's not what it is. It takes a while. There's no time limit on it. There's no direct process on it. Everybody has their own different things. And that's all I can say.
I think that one of the things that stood out the most when you was talking about it to me was when you was saying, you put it out already, so I can
yeah,
speak
put
on
it out. Like,
just making sure, because when I say I want you laughing too much, and I can't look when I'm saying this, but she was saying how, she was like, well, I wasn't bathing and I was okay with the smell and stuff, and I don't know why they did that. That just threw me off. I'm like, yeah, that means it's serious though.
Yeah.
Because women, most women, they care about their hygiene. You know what I'm saying? So it's one thing to not do, but to be okay with it. It's like, okay, well, it's something wrong for real now. Because women don't, even at a young age, you're not okay with it, you know? So I thought like that was one thing. And then even the coping through it, you was like day by day. And so I remember my pops had this saying he always say, like, one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Now he was certified depressed and he had all the other stuff he had going on. But I never realized how much that phrase was like a medical phrase, like something he learned probably through therapy and just kind of coping, like a coping phrase. Like he just said it before he ever got diagnosed with anything. So he's been doing that since forever. So when you was talking about, you know, since 13, you know, seeing a therapist, I wondered like, damn, how long in his life was he saying like, well, one day at a time, trying to get by until he got actual real help, and he realized that was the only thing probably keep him to, you know, one day at a time for real.
Mm-hmm.
So you also said you was like, you know, you start little by little, like you do the dishes, you do the laundry, you know,
Yeah.
like that was big to me because you seem like a well put together person, like you gonna get it all done all the time.
Yeah.
So to take baby steps and stuff like that I feel like stuff not like I know, right? But I feel like stuff you would get done in one day.
Yeah.
I said, damn, she been really going through it.
Yeah.
To take them baby steps, but then separate in a small ones. I did this today, so I'm gonna just chill.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll try to fold the clothes. We'll see what's going on from there.
I mean, it was a lot for me too to see me in that manner, like, and be okay with it. Like now that I look back on it, of course, I'm like, when it was going on, I'm not really caring. But like once I got out of it, it was just like, dang, like I need help. That's when I'm like, I need help. And I remember texting my therapist and just saying just that I need help. That was it. And we started doing 2 sessions a week, and she started with, oh, let's try meds and stuff. And I'm not against meds, but I never seen myself get that far. So like looking at my house and then looking at my mental health and seeing how everything just is, it feels like a lot. So you do have to like take it day by day, because once you get that low, it feels like it's so much that you're not gonna come out. So it seems like the easiest solution is to just go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
like, yeah, like
Definitely get that.
it was crazy. So
I saw, so while I was going through that, I saw Jim Carrey interview. I can't remember who was interviewing him, where the clip came from, but he was talking about his own depression and stuff. And a lot of people didn't know he was depressed, and it'd be kind of crazy. Like it'd be like the funniest people be having like the craziest shit going on in their personal life. It's like Robin Williams and shit. But
stars be human, yeah. They be going through their own stuff too.
Yeah,
you'll never know.
yeah. So like, he was like, he started looking at depression differently. Like, depression is basically, how he said it, was you getting tired of playing the same character. Like you want to change the whole shit. Like it's not a video games. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You in yourself, you ain't coming back. You ain't got another life up there. I think Pac-Man and shit. So yeah. I think that was a cool perspective. You know what I'm saying?
What a game. I like that. That was man said Pac-Man, you brought took it back.
First thing I thought of when I saw it, when he said it.
The next probably the dopest part about the whole thing with the suicide aspect of what you was talking about, you was saying, and I thought it was the best part of the show to me, was your aunt telling you, I knew not to take it personal.
Oh yeah, no, my best friend told me that.
Oh, I'm sorry, your best friend.
Don't be messing up my.
Why I put aunt? Then I'm sorry. You might have said aunt. Listen back to you. Might have said aunt.
I watched it back twice.
Check it back. Do it 3 times.
All right, I'll check it back. See, that's the hip Lacia.
Yeah, Lacia.
But yeah, my best friend said that, and it was interesting when she said that. Actually, I knew not to take it personal. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think my aunt said it too. You might be right.
Yeah, because I'm thinking I listened to it while I was driving. Like,
so catch this on the record, because y'all love to say women don't like to admit, you know. So
the y'all who?
I
don't
apologize.
Don't get me confused with some other guys. Man.
Oh, you're not doing.
We gonna edit it into the show. Said it right here.
Put this out first.
Man, and don't be petty, because I know
2024, May 28th. A woman finally said she was wrong.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh,
But
shit.
yeah, not taking it personally. And I say that because when you get in that headspace, people love to make it about them.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, bruh, it's not about you right now. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's time for it to be about you, it'd be about you. But they love to make it about them. And I think that sometimes it's unintentional. I don't really think it's on purpose.
Yeah.
I think you trying to figure out the right things to say to like potentially save this person. And it's not working. The worst thing you could do is take somebody else's depression personal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they'll lash out on you sometimes too.
Yeah.
Especially if they know they stuff, you know.
And we already in a place of like isolation, you know, so like it's like I'm already
It's gonna add you to the list now.
You tipping.
Yeah.
You know, I'm standing over here like jump or don't jump, and you're tipping. So it's just don't take it personal.
Yeah, and I don't know, like if it's a situation where the partner or somebody that we're talking to also going through their own stuff as well. I'm pretty sure that can kind of hurt stuff too, because kind of gotta take turns on, I guess, who can be hurt today. I guess I don't know how that would work, but because everybody you could be going through trauma. Somebody you going through trauma as well. You know, you'll just hit a little later. So, you know, I think it got to be talked about. I don't know. Like, you got to talk about that, because that is rough to have two different people going through the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like with that, you gotta do the best you can individually, and then like y'all come together and collaborate on what y'all can collaborate on.
Yeah.
At that point.
I mean, I think sometimes in relationships, I hate to be the person to be like the bad person, but sometimes you just gotta step away. Like you were saying, like the whole closure thing. If I'm going, I ain't got time to give you closure. Yeah. I'm trying to close myself on some other stuff. You know, I ain't got time for it.
Yeah.
And also, it might not be a closure thing. It might just be a time apart thing, and get back when you're right. You know.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not right, it ain't the point of me, you know, being with you or around you.
Yeah, that made me think about something I was talking to my auntie about the other day. We was talking about what my next topic was going to be, which I'm not going to talk about right now, but we were talking kind of around that aspect about closure and stuff. And I said, you know, one of the best things that my ex could have did now that I'm in a better space was break up with me. And I'll always appreciate that, because I don't think that I would be in the mental space I'm in today had we stayed together. And I'm trying to fight through, like, it was a lot that I was fighting through, and I'm bringing you down unintentionally, intentionally, because it was both, you know, like. And so one of the best things that he could have did was break up with me while I deal with that. And, you know, then you discover so many other things too, like amongst that. But yeah,
I always say, like, one of the sayings is sometimes things gotta happen so other things can happen. So I mean, you look at it how you look at it, but if that don't happen, then you don't you know, get in your own space to do your own thing.
Your own thing.
And sometimes people don't really, like, we talk about breaking on closure. Sometimes people don't leave you. You let them stay forever sometimes, like, depending on if it's comfortable. Like, if you're comfortable, you let them stay. So to get uncomfortable is probably the best position you could be in sometimes, depending on what it is and what you're going through in life. So I'm definitely pro be uncomfortable if you got to be. So I do want to mention this one thing. We kind of end on here though, but when you going through some things you're going through, like just suicide or just depression in general, it's kind of hard when so you lost your dad, lost my dad recently, and then you lost your granddad. And I remember seeing you around that time post a lot about it, right? So I already knew it was like, I knew that it was, you could tell when it affects somebody, because I'm like, oh damn, she really, damn. And at the time, I think I had lost my grandma before you lost your granddad, so I kind of already knew. I said, damn, she got to go through it, because I could tell from the memories you were posting, y'all had some good memories, you know. But then when you spoke about her on the podcast, I was like, damn. And it was that the one thing you said, he was like, he always knew. And I don't know this about grandparents. I don't know if you experienced that or not, but it's like they be knowing sometimes more than your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, you be in your own world, but they're, hey, come here. What's up? What's wrong?
Let me talk to you for a second.
Yeah, and then get it out of you too. And then you said he would tell you, like, you know, hey, call your nana, she worried about you. I thought that was dope, because you don't realize how much you need it when you don't have it no more. You know, so to go through some things you're going through without that, I'm pretty sure, like, when you think about it, that also was fucking your mind up as well. Like, damn, he probably caught this 2 months ago before I caught it. You know what I'm saying?
he always knew, like, I don't know how. And it was like he always knew like what to say if I didn't want to talk about it, and whatever it was that he was saying was like pertaining to it. Like,
That's that wisdom.
yeah. And it was just crazy, like, because a lot of people don't have you know, close relationships with their grandparents. So my experience was a lot different. And it's crazy because my granddaddy, I thought he was so mean, like growing up, but I always wanted to go over there. I'm like, I'm about to go in here with granddaddy. He'd go in the room, close the door. I'm in there like, what's up? But he was just very supportive and he was non-judgmental. Like, it didn't matter what I was going through or anything. Like, when he found out about the pregnancy situation, he didn't pull me to the side to have a conversation about it. But what he said was, and this will always stick with me, like, cherishing those moments. But he said to me, you look good. You look good, granddaughter. I'm like, oh, thanks, granddaddy. He like, yeah, that's how it look when you start cutting off dead ends. And now I'm in my car like, who is this? Like, it'll have you know, like really think about it. So even now when I'm experiencing certain things, I play back. I'm thankful for all the videos that I have. He was very active with support on my dating life too.
Yeah.
But I play back the videos or just thinking about certain things that he would say, and I'm like, you know what, he would probably say, you know, this right now. But he definitely always knew. And then if he didn't say it to me, he was calling my daddy. Or he would say something to my nana called my daddy calling me like, yeah, your granddaddy said blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, nah, I'm fine.
That's definitely how I be though. But I think it's dope to have those grandparents that can see things. Because a lot of times your parents, they just so kind of headstrong on just making sure they raise you right.
Yeah.
As opposed to giving you the wisdom. They don't see the other side of things. They just see you do wrong, I gotta punish you, or you do this, I gotta do that. It's cause and effect, you know. But the grandparent get to see life through a different lens because one, they already lived life already anyway. It's like, you can't judge me no more anyway. You know, shit, I'm getting old anyway. So I like that aspect. I wish if anybody can have a good relationship with their grandparents, if you don't have one, definitely not missing out, because if you don't have one, it's probably not your, I don't know if it's your fault and all of that, but that is something you definitely want in life. I wouldn't change it for nothing at all.
Yeah, at the times I wasn't like super close to my grandparents due to other issues with parents and them having issues with their parents. I had my Uncle Harry, which was my great uncle. Honestly, he was very up there, but he was a wise man that paid attention to me and things. Same things like y'all saying. But I was like a little bit younger. I didn't really like understand all of that, and I wish I had the awareness to like take pictures and record stuff at that time.
Yeah.
But I used to spend the summers with him and stuff. And I was like, at the beginning, you're like, "Nah, I don't want to be over here." And then like, you know what I'm saying? But you're like, "Oh, he cool. Like I like being over here. I'd rather be over here than grandma's house. Come on, let's get it."
Yeah, man.
I think that with my granddaddy with the whole picture thing, honestly, the videos I used to record just out of pure comedy.
Yep, that's what
he
it was.
never knew I was recording.
Just to be funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would just be like, this really came out your mouth, you know. And I have several videos, so now when I go back and look at it, it's better than a picture because it's like I can relive that moment with your voice. So, and that goes back to experiences. You know, experiences change you, and there are people that I lost before. I don't have videos. I don't even have pictures. And I think as you get older, you understand things at a different level too. Like now, it makes sense why I had to take all these pictures all the time and you know, stuff like that. Now I understand the comments that they were making when I was younger about, you know, taking pictures and appreciating moments, and you know, that you thinking is gibberish. Then you get older and you like, hey, my grandparents supposed to live forever, or whoever, you know, because essentially, I mean, I thought my grandparents were gonna live forever. So
yeah, that's how I be.
Yeah.
The people that you love so much seem invincible. Like nothing can happen to them. You know, you just think I got them forever, and then you realize you don't. So, I do want you to plug. You didn't get the price on the hat, so I guess it's $20 for me. I don't know how much she gonna charge you. Must be one of them DM me for the price type people.
Check your DM.
Ain't gonna ask for no different colors in it.
But tell them like where they can find you on whether it's Facebook, YouTube, and what you're doing. Tell them where they can catch you at.
Like what? Like
Like your podcast,
Oh,
all
the
that,
credit,
all that.
you know
Plug
what I'm
it,
saying?
plug
Like,
it.
let's see which
story
hat.
time with Lacey. I mean, you make your pick. You know, I know you got so many different things you're doing.
You
The streets
The
told
mess.
me. All right.
But as far as like my Facebook handle is Lacia Catrice. I changed that like I was like married and then got divorced. You know what they say about
Might have did. Might have did. I never know with you, man. Never know, man.
Anyway, Facebook.
Next live, the time I got married.
Yo,
You know I'll never tell it till afterwards.
that was the episode topic she wants to talk about.
I know, right? I ain't get my closure.
Y'all petty.
She put to get in the car. How did they know?
So y'all probably already know.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Man, but yeah, like y'all can find me on Facebook as Lacia Catrice. Podcast, TikTok, Instagram, all of that is Let Lacey Tell It. Yeah.
That was dope, man. I appreciate you, Lacia. Nice to meet
Yes,
you.
thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
First time for everything. All right, here we go. Heal
Nice to
Lacey,
meet
by the
you,
way.
too.
Nice hat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
High off healing. You know what I'm saying? You high?
Yeah.
I know it's not a feeling. I get that. I know you come with your anxiety. All right, then. One of the best podcasts. We out.
This is going that Vlad shit.